This, with Lindbergh, he's giving permission. He's a goddamn hero. So if he says it, every anti-Semite has permission. The Lone Eagle, he flew across the ocean. He wouldn't lie. He's a great American.
Newspapers and the radio guys, they all lap it up.
Well, they lap it up because it's Lindbergh.
Hey, I'm Stephanie Yang with The Nocturnal, and we're here in New York City at the HBO red carpet premiere of The Plot Against America. We're about to talk to the incredible cast and the people behind the series. So how was it like working in the series?
It was really a special thing to be a part of. I'm a huge David Simon fan, as are so many people, and these actors are really some of my favorites, and so it was a really special opportunity.
Can you explain your character a little bit for the viewers?
Yeah, so Selma Wishnow is the neighbor of the lead character that we follow, Philip. She has a son who is Philip's peer, but is sort of the kid that nobody wants to play with. And we watch her husband is ailing, and we watch her slowly over the course of the series. She's how we watch how bad things are getting for the average person in America. So she's a bit of a tragic character.
Yeah, it definitely was a turn of events towards the end. I watched the entire series. It's very tragic. I know, but you played such a strong role in it, and very important character. How was working with the cast in Wynonna Rider overall? Really
just wonderful. I spent most of my time with Zoe Kazan, who's just such an incredible person, really lovely human being to be in a room with. So we had a great time. And my kids, the kids were also really just pros and such lovely people. So
they're so adorable.
Adorable, I know.
What do you want people to know when watching this series?
Oh gosh, I think the main thing that attracted me to it when I read the book in particular is just how beautifully Philip Roth shows us how the smallest actions, the smallest choices, our vote, the things we choose to spend our money on, the people we choose to believe, can make such a difference for not only ourselves but the people around us. So I would say it's a beautiful thing to watch in this moment as we're heading into an election.
So your character is a little bit of a rebel in this series. Do you see yourself in him at all?
Not in that sense. We're both artists. We're both young. We're both. I mean, I guess I could say we look alike too, but that's a given. But no, I have a bunch of people that are like, "Hey, will you do this thing with us?" I'm like, "Not unless the law says I can." So I'm not like that, but yeah.
But I've seen your artwork, so you guys are both very artistic. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
That was just kind of like a fun thing that happened. We got the character bio, and it said we need a 14-year-old Jewish artist, and I was like, "Hey, I do that." And it was just kind of something that helped. Like, I think there's one shot in one of the episodes where they actually used me drawing, and it just kind of helped a little bit.
I think that's incredible. How was working with the cast and Wynonna Rider?
Oh God, everyone was great. It was so cool because this all happened like really fast for us, and it was so nerve-wracking coming in because we had like 3 days to prepare, and then we got there, we sat down at the table reading, and everyone was just so welcoming and so kind. Everyone was fantastic. It was great.
What do you want people to know about your character when watching this show?
He knows not what he does. It's not his fault.
Well, I love your character.
Germans know how to make war.
You read the Star Ledger today?
About Wheeler and the Republicans recruiting Lindbergh to run?
Yeah.
He's tapped into something. Maybe not around here, but among the Goyim. Did you read the Roper poll? 39% say Jews are like other people. 53% say we're different and should be, quote, restricted, unquote.
That much?
10% say we should be deported. And that, my friend, is a lot of kindling. Lindbergh, if he runs, could be the spark.
What do you want the viewers to know while watching this series?
That while the subject is bleak, the narrative is so compelling, and just artistically, it's so beautiful to look at, I think. And I think it's such fine writing by David Simon that I think you will not be able to turn it off. It really is that kind of show.
I was really hooked after every episode. I think it was really incredible, and your acting was very incredible in it as well. How was working with the cast members and Wynonna Rider?
I mostly worked with Morgan Spector, who's the lead in the show, and he's absolutely delightful. I told him I only want to act with him from now on. And I got to work with Aji, the little guy he's so cute and such a good actor. And I had to terrorize him a little bit, which was fun. But
He's a little rascal in there.
oh, no, he's a great guy. I think for me one of the highlights was my career has been a string of lawyers and mostly corrupt lawyers, and it's so nice to play someone of heart and sensitivity. For me, it's a great change. It's much closer to who I am, and I loved the character. Also, any character named Shepsy Tershwell, you can't turn that down. You know.
Is there anything else you want to say about the series?
Anything else I want to say about the series? I will say that the book was written in 2004, I believe, and it was very prescient, and it has serious modern-day application to things that are happening in our country now.
Is he going to run for president?
Against Roosevelt, he'd be a putz.
He's a hero, as you said.
A hero.
No way.
A hero now. But if the Republicans ran him against Roosevelt, after all he did to get us out of this
Who
depression...
says we're out of it?
Worst is over.
Says you. A lot of people still aren't earning what they once did.
I know plenty still out of work. People aren't patient, not with Roosevelt, not with...
Philip is, he's a child, but I believe he's very wise too, because I know he's very young and innocent, but I think he has a greater understanding of what's going on around him. Not only is the actual world crumbling, but his world's crumbling. And I think a lot of people like seeing the world's horrific events through a younger person's eyes. I know I do. And I think that's what they're getting with Philip.
He's going through so much in the series. Do you see a little bit of yourself in Philip?
Well, we definitely look alike. Definitely, because I think I'd have the same reaction as him if this sort of bad stuff happened. I mean, I think I might have been a little bit slightly nicer to Selden in the TV show, but I think I would have had the more or less the same reaction as him. If that makes sense.
And you have such like a unique stamp collection in the show. Do you collect anything, on your own?
I don't really collect anything, but learning how to put the stamps and stuff in the book, it was slightly difficult, but it was also very fun because learning about stamp collecting and all of the history of stamps was very enlightening.
And how was working with the cast in Wynonna Rider?
Oh, they were all phenomenal people. Winona, we talked a lot about music. She even gave me a Green Day shirt, which I'm really happy about. I think it used to be hers. It's really cool. Yeah.
How was it working on the series overall?
It was a really important series to begin with, and then on top of that, to work with this kind of caliber of creator and talent in front of the camera was a gift. And to be able to go from the outset and see these scripts and try and realize them, create a world, because I directed the first 2 episodes. So we spent a lot of time world building, which was great, and casting it and finding a look for the show, all that kind of stuff. It was really exciting.
What do you want people to know when watching this series?
I want them to take away just how chilling a life was back then and how it could be tomorrow here. It's an alternative history, but what frightens me is it's not that far away. So I want people to watch and hopefully think about what we're currently inhabiting in the world right now.
I had goosebumps watching the entire time. It's such a thrilling series. I'm like, is there going to be a season 2? I just like,
Did you see the whole lot?
The whole thing. It was amazing.
Yeah.
I was working with all the cast members and like Wynonna Rider.
I mean, every one of them is a gift because every one of them had such passion about doing it. Talk about Winona. She had to get special dispensation to leave Netflix and Stranger Things to come and do this. And she was adamant this was a story she had to tell and wasn't going to let anything get in the way of it. And for me, that was just one example of how every single cast member grabbed it by the horns and went for it. They absolutely owned it. They made it their own. We sat for hours talking about character, about journey. I mean, the great thing is you had the book to lean on, but you also knew that David was going to take it somewhere else. So that was great.
I'm glad you guys were able to tell this story for everyone in the world. I think it's very important. You play such a bold character in this series. What do you want people to know when watching this series about your character?
What do I want people to know? I don't know. I think he's so many things that I think the beauty of playing someone that's so complex and so bold, as you said, is that you can take different things from it. I would quite like it if some audience members said I hated him and some audience members said I loved him. That would make me feel like I'd done my job right, you know.
I definitely had a love-hate relationship with him.
Okay,
so
good.
Watching the entire.
Okay, that's all I wanted. Good. Yeah.
Do you think he would act differently if he wasn't an orphan?
Yeah, probably. I focused a lot about that he had this sort of bizarre hero's tale, you know, like a sort of Greek tragedy. He had lost both parents and then had this sort of. I think a lot of his anger comes from that not having parents and being stuck with Morgan Spector's character. Because I found that he would probably be very angry at all of that. Yeah.
How was working with the cast members, like Wynonna Rider?
Amazing, man. Well, Winona's a legend. She's just like such an icon. To work with her was just a dream, and so kind as well, like, and generous, and just. I don't have any more positive adjectives to say about that woman. She's a real class act. And I worked with loads of beautiful actors. Everyone was incredible. Yeah, loads of brilliant American actors, which made me very self-conscious about my American accent. Yeah.
You were incredible. Your acting was incredible. So, is there anything else you'd like to say?
No. Shout out Mom and Dad. I want to go to Disney World. I don't know. That's just it.
How was being in this series overall?
I mean, it was crazy. It was amazing. It was surreal to be a part of it. To work with David Simon, you know, and Ed Burns and Nina Noble and everybody, and on an HBO show, it's like crazy. It's my biggest, role, biggest job to date. So it's cool to be a part.
Tonight's a big night for you.
Yeah, it's cool. I've never done this before. It's like crazy and really exciting, and it's cool to see all the people I worked with. I haven't seen them in a while. But yeah, it's good. It's good.
What do you want people to know about your character when watching this series?
Shushi Margolis, he is Alvin's best friend, wannabe gangster. He tries so hard to be a good gangster, but he's maybe not the smartest. But what he lacks in intellect, he makes up for in strength. I hope he's the muscle of the operation.
Well, you're like his best friend, so he needs a guy like you during tough times like this.
Yes, of course. Yeah. I give him. I'm someone he can pick on. I serve that role in his life. I don't know.
Is there anything else you want to say?
No, just happy to be here.
How was it creating the series overall?
It was exhausting. We were shooting this and the last season of Deuce simultaneously, so I feel like I lived in the Holland Tunnel, going back and forth. But I don't think I've ever had a better cast show. Credit Alexa Fogel with that, but also all the actors who contributed. The directors understood the material innately. Everything went about as well as you could hope. It's a scary thing adapting Philip Roth. This is a guy who was waiting around for his Nobel in literature. And to have it strained through TV hackery is a fragile thing. I guess I'm a little hopeful that we did right by him, but his novel was a delicate parlor drama of a family that's in an America that's on a dry run towards fascism. And it's, in being delicate, it was really worrisome to me about whether we could convey that and manage to make a point for today's world. I think we did, but he's not around to ask anymore, regrettably. He's not here tonight. So here goes. But, it's one thing to adapt, some work, some journalism or some nonfiction work, but man, to go after a Philip Roth book, it's scary. It's a little bit scary.
I think it was such a beautiful series. It was I had goosebumps the entire time. How was it working with the cast members?
I'd worked with some before, but there were a lot of new people to the production that I hadn't worked with. I really felt like the family, the extended family, the Levin family as you experience it, I really felt they became a family. I believed it on the screen. And I feel that a lot of that is testament to how they approached the work and how they approached each other. It was fascinating watching, particularly the kids, particularly Caleb and Aji, and how they engaged with their on-screen parents, Morgan and Zoe, and the sisterly dynamic between Winona and Zoe, and I just felt like everywhere the camera turned, I believed in these people. It was really a remarkable adventure.
Everyone played such an important role in this series, and I think it was beautifully portrayed. What do you want people to know when watching this series?
Democracy is hard. It's really hard. Of all the forms of governance, it might be the worst until you consider all the alternatives. It's not easy. It's never perfected. It requires quotidian effort. Every day you have to kill some snakes, and then you have to get up and kill more snakes, and it's never finished. The work is never done. And the moment you think it's finished, or the moment you think you're entitled to step away from the work, that's when you lose your republic. And we're in that exact moment right now. The elemental norms of how we govern ourselves as a nation of laws, as a republic of civil liberties, are being challenged every day. This is a novel about a similar moment, imagined by Roth, that is perfectly allegorical to this moment now, and to the fight that has to happen right now. So I hope everyone sees it and they feel more inclined to be citizens and to take on the responsibilities of being citizens of a republic.
Well, I'll definitely be looking out if there's a season 2.
No, it's end to run. I wouldn't go beyond his novel. That would be too dangerous. But thank you.
But your work was great, so thank you so much for your time.
I'm here with Wynonna Rider. How are you doing tonight? Great. Can you tell us a little bit about the series and what you want people to know from watching it?
Well, it's actually, everyone thinks it was just written because it's so relevant and so timely, but it was actually based on Philip Roth's novel. It's about the rise of fascism and fear of the other and fear of anti-Semitism, everything that's sort of going on today is what it's about, which is kind of crazy.
It's such a powerful message. Thank you so much.
Oh gosh, no, I think she's very different than I am. I found it interesting to play a person who had her mind so much on the domestic sphere. My life is very different than that, and I found it especially interesting in the wake of becoming a mother myself. This was my first job coming back from having my child, and so I think that there was something really powerful about getting the sort of archetypal mother right in that moment.
What do you want people to know when they watch this series and your character?
Oh gosh, it's a slow burn. It's about the sort of slow creep of fascism or nationalism in a country like ours and how that can happen and what that does to ordinary people. It's also a very intimate portrait of his family. I hope that people tend to care about these characters the same way that